Good morning, I'm Sharaad Kuttan and welcome to BFM's Morning Headlines. It's the 7th of March and this is one of the major headlines. Yes, it's kind of Groundhog Day for all of us who have been sentient or politically aware since the late 90s. It's a sodomy trial again. No mattresses this time. I think they're just looking at the case and how the lower courts adjudicated it and why they found Anwar Ibrahim, head of Pakatan Rakyat, guiltless in the crime of sodomizing his aide. The lead counsel for the government is a man who has ambitions to become the next Attorney General of Malaysia. So there he says there's enough evidence, and also in the other papers it's carried as the state's argument is that in fact Anwar Ibrahim's side did not provide an alibi for the alleged misdeed. And here on the corner is a very interesting story. That's Raja Nazrin, region of Perak. He is giving advice to the Malay Muslim community. Now, what exactly is that advice? Here, the pull quote is that the Malay Muslim community shouldn't think of themselves as being in a really strong position. Now, there are multiple ways of reading that. In the New Straits Times, again, you have there Raja Nazrin on Malay misdeeds. He's saying that Malay leadership is divided, it's accusing each other of all kinds of things, creating an impression of ugliness within the community. That's what is kind of emphasized in the story. But deep in the story, you also realize that he says that during the pre and post, immediate post-independence period of the formulation of Malaysia, the Malays remained united on core issues concerning the dignity and pride of the race and the sanctity of Islam, despite the differences of political beliefs. Now, this led to an acceptance of diversity and difference, and the community did not see a need to be homogeneous. So that's an interesting thing. You say they're much more tolerant, magnanimous in their attitude and such. So I think there are multiple ways of reading Raja Nazrin's speech, as always, and people will be projecting their own agenda on it. Also in the papers, and it's carried there, front page, we're talking about these two individuals, both in their 50s, have been charged with murder. They've been convicted and sentenced to hang for the murder of an Indonesian maid. They not only abused her, but starved her to death. She weighed in at something like 26 kilos at the time of her death. Also in the news, in terms of death penalty, Indonesian programmer held for trafficking methamphetamines. Now, also in the news, Sina Harian has this story. Remember how we've been talking about Hudud, Brunei and that? Well, here it's come to roost. The Menteri Besar of Kelantan says that he's willing to lose his position in order to implement Hudud. And who's going to help him in doing that? The federal government. Yes, he's had discussions with the Prime Minister, and according to him, that he's looking for cooperation between the Islamic departments, both the federal level and the state level, to overcome whatever barriers there have been to the implementation of Hudud. Of course, is the Islamic Penal Code. Also in the papers there, Teresa Kok, yet again a victim of an attack. The question is, why hasn't anybody been caught? The Sun has a story on a data scam, so does Berita Harian. Both of them have the same story. Berita Harian has it. 200,000 students and their data was sold by a company, sold to a company rather, and the scam was essentially this. The students were invited to an interview for a place at a university, and then during the interview they were told they had to pay a 500 ringgit processing fee. Don't let this give you ideas, they were caught. Okay, New Straits Times, we still have the right to review voter rates, Singapore. Yes. And we shout it loud enough and underline it, it will make our case stronger. What's at stake? Well, apparently Malaysia had the right to review the water rates 25 years after the agreement was signed. But in 1987, we didn't do so. The question is, have we since lost the right to review the rates? It's now more than 25 years, and Singapore's argument is that, well, you know, you didn't do it in 87 when you're given a chance, you can't do it now. But I guess if we underline things, we are more right. The Malay Mail has a story on childcare centres, because remember there were allegations of a childcare centre in Johor Bahru and abuse there. Now it says that parents are held to ransom as with charges up to 2,200 ringgit per month, and there's no regulation, blah blah blah. Parents are forced to take risks with strangers. But guess what? Harian Metro, a child abused by her own parents. She didn't have to go to a creche to get abused. She was abused at home. Speaking of abuse, the Swedish case carries on with the mother finally coming up, taking the stand and saying that her children are prone to lying. So that's getting very ugly. Before we end this morning's roundup, I do have to note that the Ministry of Home Affairs has banned Ultraman, the ultimate power. I don't know if that's the way he does it, but the government of course opens up itself to ridicule when it doesn't explain why a comic book is a national security threat. It is. So what is the word of the day? It's Ultraman. Yes, Ultraman. There you have it. That's all I have for you today. I'm Sharaad Kuttan. It's been BFM's Morning Headlines, BFM 89.9.